Alright guys, it is day 1, week 1 of our buy nothing challenge. So I've got a little bit of matcha here left. I'm going to have that this morning. And I'm debating whether or not I'm going to have boba. So I haven't had boba in a while. These are still good. They're good till October, but there's 3 in there. And I love boba. I just don't consume it that often. So I'll let you guys know what I decide. So far today I've only had the matcha. I didn't have the boba. I thought about it, but I didn't. And I'm not going to eat very much today. I'm going to be doing raboki tonight and like a mukbang sort of style of a meal. So I'm going to save my appetite for that. Plus I'm not super hungry yet. So I've got laid out a couple of protein bars. These will be eaten during the morning sometime. Right now it's almost 10. And I have been drinking water all morning, but I'm going to have a prebiotic Pepsi. I try just to have, like during this, I'm going to try to have like one fancy drink a day. But if I run out of them, that's okay because I still have my SodaStream. And all of the accoutrements that go with my SodaStream that I haven't been using because I've been buying things like this. Which, don't get me wrong, I like this, especially it's just convenient to grab and go. But honestly, I need to use my SodaStream more. So this challenge that I'm doing, basically I can use anything in the house. I'm supposed to not buy things unless they're fresh things. So like, obviously I'm not going to have fruit and vegetables for very long. I have some frozen veggies, but not very many. So we're going to use what we got, and I went through and I compiled a list of everything. I took stock of all of my things, my freezers, my pantry, yada yada yada. And I've already started writing down a list of potential things to do with things. And it was actually really helpful when I went through the freezers because there were some things in there that I didn't even remember existed. Now, the only thing is, I won't be buying any more products in July except for like fresh products or things that aren't for me. But I did order some things before the end of last month that are still in the process of coming here. So we're not going to count that. But I was almost out of my egg white protein powder, my vegan one. So I had ordered another one of them. Oh, guys, I'm so annoyed. So earlier this week, I recorded my orange cranberry baked oats, and for some reason the footage is gone, and I'm so sad about it, which means I'm gonna have to re-record that. But I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm not buying anything, and I used the last of my dried cranberries for that recipe, and I'm not buying any of those right now. So put that on the back burner. I'm just sad because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I really like to just get it done and like have it done. So knowing in the back of my mind that I don't have it done is just gonna irk me, but that's okay. It's all right. And I was looking at my pantry stuff, and I'm like, I kind of want to make a sweet treat, just to have something that maybe I can put in the freezer or give away to somebody or something like that, because I have a bunch of pantry staples I need to get through. And I was looking and I'm like, well, I have dates. I always have dates. And I have plenty of chocolate. I have protein pretzels, and I have hazelnuts. So I'm like, so I'm thinking about making a date bark with the protein pretzels, the hazelnuts, and the chocolate melted on top, like a protein bark. So you get the fiber from the dates, you get the protein from the pretzels, you get the healthy fats from the hazelnuts, and then the sweet indulgence with the chocolate chips. So I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make that. Sounds good. Alright guys, so it is time for a little snacky snack. It is noon. I'm not really that hungry right now, but I want to snack on something else before I go get myself ready. So I'm having these Drizzlicious frosted strawberry rice cakes. Yeah, that should help me stay full until I have my big dinner tonight. But yeah, after this I need to go get myself ready and around, and I think I'm gonna be doing some recipe videos. All right, and there is my half portion of my raboki, and then this is just a little dipping sauce that I made with soy sauce, chili crisp, and sesame oil. I make it all the time. There is the veggie kimbap, my homemade inari, some bulgogi from Only Meat, and the Korean barbecue bao buns from Omni, I think it is. And then for dessert, this is possible if I have room. Chinese twist crullers and the brown sugar ziba. Also, it's wine o'clock. Good morning, guys. I was like, oh my god, my hair is crazy. I don't want to record. But I was like, actually, yeah, I do, because it's pretty wild. I look like Miss Frizzle. I literally just got up. Well, I got up, fed the cats, fed the dogs. Yeah, I'm tired. It's unbearably hot right now, so, I mean, I have air conditioning, but 14 years ago, I lived, where I lived, I didn't have any air conditioning at all, and we made it work, so, yeah, but nowadays, it gets even hotter, and sleep is hard, because I'm so hot and sweaty, and it's awful, but the show must go on. I'm up, I'm going to make my coffee, I'm going to caffeinate, I'm going to fix whatever's going on up here, then we're going to hit the gym. It's the last day of gym for the week for me. Right now that I'm back at the gym, that I am back actually working out at a gym, because I still worked out, just not at a gym. But now that I'm back working out at the gym, I'm going 4 days a week. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So Wednesday is my rest day, and then I don't work out on Saturday, Sunday. Well, not at a gym. Like, I'll still do things. Like, I'm very active, and I need to get into that routine again. Because the weekends, when school's back in session, are my time to, like, spend time with the kids, get extra cleaning done, get prep done. So that's why I don't work out on the weekends, typically. Not in your traditional sense. But anyway, it's time to caffeinate, and I need it today. Alright, so the ingredients I pulled out for my smoothie today. So we have some frozen kale. I'm going to use that. I usually do spinach, but I had a bag of frozen kale, so I'm going to use some of that. I usually do about a cup of greens. I do about a cup of this to 2 cups, depending on like what I'm making. If I'm making like a smoothie bowl or just a smoothie. I have some frozen bananas. I don't have any soy milk at the moment. Well, I do have soy milk, but it's shelf stable soy milk. So I'm going to go through what I got in the fridge first. And I have this protein powder I'm going to use. I wasn't sure which protein powder. I was leaning towards the Dole Whip one from Be Amazing, but I think I'm going to use the Birdman one just because, I mean, I don't like both of them that much. But I find myself using the Dole Whip one more for other things, so I'm going to use the blueberry one. And this one has 23 grams of protein, 140 calories, if anybody cares about that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going to use. Normally, I would put a splash of orange juice in this too, or like a half a cup of orange juice, but I'm out of orange juice. And voila, big ass smoothie, guys. So I ended up using almost 2 cups of the fruit because it was only like a little bit left in the bag after I put a cup in, so I just added the rest. So it was almost 2 cups, and I added 2 scoops of protein powder. So it's like 525 calories and 51 grams of protein. Still tastes like kale, but I'm gonna drink it anyway because I need that good stuff in my body. All right, guys, it is time to have my homemade dal, and I have some coconut, lime, cilantro, rice in here. Not a whole lot because I have a lot of naan. And then I have 2 of the Tindal masalas. And then this is the other accoutrements we have. This is masala idli. It looks good. And this one is vata patra, spiced taro root. And then obviously naan for days. Oh, I'm so excited.
So for breakfast next week, I'm having a yogurt protein parfait with my protein granola and my chia seed jam. My lunch, I'm having an Asian salad with tempeh and frike as the grain. I wasn't sure which grain I was going to use, but I had a lot of frike, so I'm going to be using frike. And I'm going to have for my snacks a little UB protein bar and a protein shake because a lot, like my lunch and my dinner are, like, they're all not super high in protein. Like, they're not bad, but I'm trying to use up what I have, so instead of getting more, that's kind of the challenge. I'm just going to use what I have. And then for my dinner this week, I'm going to be having loaded potatoes. So I'm going to be doing the russet potatoes that I have to use. I'm going to scrub them up really good. I'm going to steam them in the microwave with my steamer, my microwave steamer. I'm going to use the chili that I have in my freezer that I prepped, pork chili in it, sprinkle on some Deo cheese, and sprinkle on some TVP bacon bits, and call it a day. Now, if I get bored of doing that, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to slice up the potatoes and air fry them and make like a chili cheese potato fry, whatever, chili cheese fries, but weird. Because I don't think I'm going to make them into French fries. I'm going to give them into like medallions or something. I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. But then with everything, with the protein shake, the protein bar, and then those meals, I'm sitting at 1,750 calories, 105 grams of protein, 55.5 grams of fiber, and 58.5 grams of fat. Now, I do want to have some fruit. So I'm also going to include in there an apple, which will, change that up too.
All right, so I got 2 bags of shredded lettuce because I'm having tacos this weekend. I wanted heads of lettuce, but all their heads of lettuce were very, very small, and they didn't look very good. So I ended up just opting for the shredded lettuce, even though it's going to brown really quickly, but I'll try to use it as fast as I can. I got bananas predominantly for the children because they like to eat their bananas. I actually have 3 bananas that are getting a little brown, so if they don't eat them, that's fine. I will turn them into smoothie fodder. I got another bag of matchsticks because I mathed it out for the week, and one of these is basically gonna be enough for like half of my prep because I'm using like a cup of carrots for each salad, so I needed another one. I got a pineapple, but it's very unripe, and that was gonna be my fruit for the week, but since the pineapple's so unripe, I got a bag of pink lady apples, which is like my second favorite thing. So, and then we have the Live Light potato bread. This is the ones my kids eat the majority of the time. So that is the things I got for this week. So this weekend I'm having gourds. I'm having tacos. That's just what I want, so I'm gonna have it. And it is over what my calories are normally, but it is very high in protein because I use the fava bean ground from Beyond. But it's fine. Like, the way I see it is, I don't like to restrict myself, because if I restrict myself too much, then I just overindulge. So having 2 tacos for lunch and 2 tacos for dinner is going to satisfy me physically and emotionally, mentally, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I'm going to be having. And it's also using up things that I have. The flatbread, the taco shells. It's using the fava bean ground that I have. It's using the cheese that I have. The only thing I had to buy was the fresh lettuce, so that's good. I have taco seasoning too. I have homemade taco seasoning, and I also have packaged taco seasoning. And that's going to be what I eat this weekend, basically. I'm also going to be cleaning all weekend, because it's a cleaning weekend. I need to clean, and I have to prep. So I have to prep. The only thing I have to prep for dinner is the potatoes, because I already have the chili prepped in my freezer. I'm going to be using that. That's killing multiple things, using my TVP bacon, using the chili that I have prepped, using the potatoes that I have, and using the cheese that I have. And then I'm having the salad for lunch, which I'm using the tempeh that I have. I'm using frike that I have. The only thing that was fresh was obviously the cabbage and the carrots. And it's using the dressing that I have too. Trying to think.
for the parfaits. I already have the chia seed jam prepped in the freezer, so it's going to be using that. I'm going to be using protein powder, which I have a bunch of, and I'm going to be putting that with the yogurt, so I have to prep the yogurt itself, then thaw the chia seed jam, put that on top, and then portion out my protein granola that I already have. So awesome. And that's killing a lot of stuff that I have. I actually kind of like this, using what I have. And then, like, even when I'm done, like with the tempeh, I have tofu in the fridge, I have tofu in the freezer, I have loads of beans. I know beans are the best protein source, but I have a ton of them. And I have a lot of shelf stable, like kind of seitan-y style meats. Alright guys, it is after 6 and I hadn't had lunch yet, and I decided I wasn't going to have dal anymore. I'm going to have a raboki and just call it a day. It's not quite as much as I normally make. There's like not as much of the tofu skin knots or the puffed tofu going to be in it this time, but there is 2 cups of vegetables, and I'm going to be putting in my buldak noodles, obviously, and then I'm going to top it with some crispy garlic and some crispy shallots, and that's going to be my lunch dinner. Oh, there she is, guys, my mountain of food. I'm so excited. And then for my fancy drink, I'm having a cherry vanilla olipop. Alright, so I've got all of my lunch stuff pulled out and ready. I have jars, and I'm going to grab 2 regular mason jars also for my yogurt parfaits. I've got my chia seed jams thawing. I just pulled them out of the freezer. And I've got my chipotle sauce thawing for dinner and lunch. So the grain I chose is frique because I have the most of the frique. So we're going to get frique with frique. I've got my matchstick carrots out, which don't need anything done to them. They literally can just go in their bags. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to either use jars or reusable bags, depending on how much cabbage this makes after I shred it. I might use mason jars, or I might use like reusable bags to just package it all up and make it easy for me, except for the frique and the tempeh. They're going to be in a separate thing for convenience, because I like to have them warmed up versus the rest of the salad, which is cold. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start cooking the frique, and I am going to cook it in my rice cooker. It's actually really easy to do. Alright, so I just measured out a cup of the frique and I washed it really well. It's going to over double in size, basically. We're going to put in 2.5 cups of water, but I'm going to use veggie stock powder with it too. And I'm just going to add a tablespoon of this Vegeta stock powder. And I'm literally just going to cook it on the brown rice setting. That's it. Now we're going to get started on the tempeh. So 1 block is going to be 3 servings. Normally I just do a half a block, but this week I'm doing them into 3 portions per block to make 6 meals. I'm going to cut these up into cubes, marinate them, and then after I'm done marinating them, I'm going to coat them in cornstarch and air fry them. It's just that easy. Alright, the tempeh is all chopped up, and normally I would use the ginger dressing for the marinade, but I'm going to use the sugar-free teriyaki marinade just to minimize the calories. Alright, I used about half of the bottle. It was 3/4 a cup altogether, just to get it coated. Now we're just going to let this sit. You can put it in the fridge. Doesn't really matter. We're just going to let that sit and marinate for at least an hour. Now that we got the parts that are going to take the longest, we're going to start chopping up our vegetables. So normally I would use my food processor for this, but I just don't want to be bothered to wash it. So we're just going to chop it by hand today. Alright, so the red cabbage and the green cabbage are all shredded up. I've already been pre-portioning. My other 3 bags are still drying, so I won't be able to portion them quite yet, because we want to keep these salads as dry as possible. Moisture is the enemy, okay? So I packaged up what I could. I'm going to get the carrots and do that too. Alright, so our tempeh has been marinating for a while. It is time to cook this up. Alright, so I scoop them out of the marinade. There is still obviously some marinade on it. We're going to add some onion powder, some garlic powder, and some ground ginger. And then I'm going to grate in a clove of fresh ginger
and some ginger, fresh garlic, and some fresh ginger. I actually want to do 2 cloves of garlic. Let me see. All right, so I actually ended up getting 3 cloves of garlic out, so we're going to use 3 cloves. And I'm just going to mix that all around, and then I'm just going to sprinkle in some seasoning. I don't measure the seasoning, I just go with my heart. And then I also added some salt and some pepper too. Now we're going to coat this in 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And there they are. Now I'm just going to air fry these guys until they're crispy. It takes like 10 to 15 minutes at 400, depending on how strong your air fryer is. Also, it could get messy, so if you're worried about that, put down some parchment paper. All right, and the fricke is done. Just look at that. I always find it interesting how fricke smells when it cooks. It's such a savory smell. Even if you don't use broth, it just smells savory. All right, guys, it is time to start cooking the tacos for lunch and dinner. It is 3 o'clock. So I'm going to start by making mine. And I'm going to be using the Beyond fava bean ground for my tacos. And I'm going to be using this Cholula seasoning today. All right, and our tempeh is all done. I've already portioned out the fricke in between all of these. I didn't measure, I just eyeballed it to make them all look even. But there's going to be 9 pieces of tempeh going in each one of these. And there is the hot portion of our Asian salad for this week. So I'm going to set these aside and let them cool off before I pack them away. Alright guys, it is almost 4 p.m. and my first meal is finally ready. I'm just now starting to get hungry, so that's perfect timing. I have my vegan cheesy gordita crunches. I have 1/4 cup of the Daiya cheese melted on each of these. The Beyond fava bean ground that you guys saw me cook with the Cholula seasoning. I have my homemade chipotle, creamy chipotle sauce inside here, a tablespoon of that on each, as much lettuce as I could pack in, and then some Diablo sauce. And I can't wait to mouth this down. Alright guys, I've made my protein parfaits many times for you guys, but I'm going to be using 2 tubs of the Silk Plain yogurt, and I'm going to be using the Birdman protein powder today. Oh gosh, I really don't like this one that much, that's why I'm trying to use it up, but so I'm going to use 4 scoops of this in the parfait mixture. It did turn the yogurt this really pretty blue color. It doesn't look blue on camera though, it looks gray, but it turned into this really pretty almost like a periwinkle or like a dusty blue. That's pretty. All right, there is the parfaits topped with my chia seed jam. Now I just got to get the granola around. And ta-da! Alright, so this is my cute little microwave steamer here. You just put 1/2 cup of water in the bottom, and my potatoes are already washed. And you microwave it. You can microwave the whole potato for 10 minutes is about all it'll take. I've got a total of 8 potatoes that I'm going to be steaming because even though I'm only prepping for 6 days, I have 8 jars of prepped up chili in my freezer, so I'm gonna have 2 this next coming weekend also. All right, and our potatoes are all done, nice and squishy, and I cut little perforations in them to help with the steaming, and then that'll be where I slice them when I use them. I squished this one a little too hard. All right, and I finally got all of my salads portioned out. We have basically 2 cups of cabbage, red and green, and then a cup of carrot per each bag. I still have a little bit of red cabbage left, which I could do a couple of things with. I could save it, and then maybe this next weekend, because it'll last. Cabbage lasts a long time. So I could save it, and then this weekend use it in like a stir fry or like a ramen bowl or something like that, which I might do. Or, because it is that time of year, I could pickle it. So I have options here. I'm not going to pickle it today though. I'm going to put it in a container and pop it in the fridge. Oh, look at them. They're so pretty. I'm ravenous. All right, you guys, now I'm having 3 of my little mini chocolate protein clusters.
there's a recipe on the channel for that if you guys are interested. I just did some gardening, you guys. I just redid my herb garden too. The dill's not growing yet, but we got a little bit of sad cilantro. Hopefully more grows because I planted more seeds around it. A good happy basil and some parsley. I went out and I didn't weed my garden, but I did, I had this biodegradable, basically, packing material that I just dissolved in water and then used it to feed my garden. So all right guys, it is 8 o'clock and it is time for dinner. So I'm having my 2 last gourds for this week and some kombucha, my favorite, the guava goddess. All right guys, good morning. It is Monday. It is 9:30 in the morning. I was actually up today a little before 7, had my coffee, got back from the gym, did some dishes. I'm drinking my creatine water. I always drink it like while I'm working out. It is the Sun Warrior creatine. It's fine. Like, I just need it. I just need the creatine. So I'm going to not have breakfast yet, but I'm going to have a protein shake. I'm going to have is it Sprout Living? I don't remember. It's the coffee one. I'll show you guys what it is, but I'm going to drink that, drink my creatine, and edit videos, and then I will have breakfast a little bit later. So basically today will be the last day of the vlog for this week. I'm going to show you guys what I've created with what I have. And this week is a good balance. So like, I took stuff out of my freezer. I used stuff from my pantry. Obviously, I did get some fresh ingredients like red cabbage, carrots, green cabbage, because your girl needs some vegetables in her life. But yeah, so today will be the last day of the vlog. I'll show you guys what the meals that I prepped for this week are going to look like, what my plan is for the week. This is going to be very much what I do for the rest of the week. So. And this is how it's going to be for this whole month, maybe even longer, depending on how long I plan to keep going with it, but at least a month, where I am going to be using the things that I have, and the only things that I buy for myself are going to be fresh items, like plant milk, produce, pretty much it. I don't even need bread because I can make sourdough or I have bread in my freezer. So yeah, let's show you guys what it looks like in action. So basically this is what we're working with here. This is the protein powder I'm going to be using. I had received this and it was torn, so I'm not going to waste it. So I put it in a bag immediately. But yeah, it's the Sprout Living Epic Protein Complete Coffee. 140 calories, 20 grams protein. So I do a cup of almond milk and then a cup of water and then a scoop of protein powder. And the reason I do this after I work out is because obviously I need the protein because I just tore my muscles up, but I'm not hungry yet. I like working out in the morning, but I'm never hungry in the morning. So it's hard to have a balance there. So making a protein shake is going to get me what I need without making me feel nauseous, because if I eat too early, then I don't feel very good. So that's the plan. All right, guys, it is time for breakfast, and I'm having my parfait. And so it's very watery, very runny, and that is because of the protein powder. This is my first time using this one in a yogurt, but sometimes certain protein powders you use, they like have stuff that doesn't let them stabilize in like pudding or yogurt and stuff like that, and that is what I'm experiencing right now. It's still delicious, but it's more like a smoothie and less like a parfait. Alright guys, it is 1 o'clock and I'm feeling like having a little sweet treat before my lunch at 2, so I'm having one of the protein chocolate clusters that I made. And there she is, guys. I know she doesn't look like much, but she is smothered in Diablo. She's got the Beyond Favo bean ground and then 2 little taco shells all crunched up in there.
All right, you guys, it is time for dinner. Oh my gosh. So this is a fourth a cup of my homemade TVP bacon bits, which is very low in calories and high in protein. And beneath all of that, I have one of my potatoes that I had prepped. So I had steamed them and I air fried it in the microwave for about 10 minutes to get it crispy. And then I topped it with my homemade chili and some Daya cheese, and that is dinner.
That does it for this week's vlog, you guys. We're making a good dent in the things for our challenge. I'm very proud. Now, obviously the week's not over, but this is what I'm going to be eating for the next few days. It's actually 6 days worth of meals, but I am going to record again and start the next week, but it'll be like prepping for the week ahead. So I won't start recording that until Friday when I have to go grocery shopping and yada yada yada. So yeah, but we're doing good. I'm very proud. I'm loving the food this week. The yogurt was a bit weird, you know, but it's honestly just the protein powder. And that's how it is. Sometimes protein powders are like perfect and sometimes they don't work. So the one that I used for this prep, the blueberry from Birdman, the Fit Mingo, that one does not work well with yogurt. So it wouldn't work well with pudding either. It just makes it too liquidy. So just something to keep in mind. I've had a few other protein powders that have done that too. So put that in the back of my mind for another day. So I remember not to use it for that. I mean, it still tasted good. It's just the consistency wasn't right. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And I will see you next time. Bye.